Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eunice. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. Our topic is about food and environment, where we eat up the planet. This topic has four parts: introduction, global situation, global organization, and conclusion. Firstly, I will introduce the importance of this topic and the relation of food and environment. Food plays a central role in our lives, where people in some parts of the world do not have enough to eat, others suffer from obesity. Millions of tons of food are wasted, and crops are converted into biofuels to feed cars instead of people. Food systems are a major driver of poor health and environmental degradation. But the global food system is broken, it's harming our planet and our health. Now the whole world is paying attention to this problem, which concerns everyone's life. Global efforts are urgently needed to collectively transform diets and food production. Therefore, we choose this topic. Now I will introduce the relationship of food and environment. When we look at what we eat and how we grow it, we find extensive evidence for damage both to our food from pollution and soil depletion, and to our environment from the toxicity of growing foods industrially. Due to some plants can be efficiently grown on fast farms, but growing just one crop consistently depletes the soil and forces farmers to use greater amounts of pesticides and fertilizers. Increasingly, the food we eat comes from far away. Shipping our food long distance and processing it not only contributes to air and water pollution but depletes the food of nutrients. Ecologically speaking, we are squandering the nutrients taken from the soil, and we have broken the ecological link wherein the nutrients from the soil used in growing food and are consumed locally and then returned to that soil as compost and other waste. Due to a combination of factors including the depletion of nutrients in the soil through monoculture and the use of fertilizers, which simplify the biochemistry of soil. This simplification of the soil in turn makes plants more vulnerable to pests. So farmers need to use more pesticides, which introduces those chemicals in our bodies and in our air and water supply.
Will we eat up the planet? Nowadays, marine fisheries is an important part of the world's national economy.
China as one of the largest fishery countries in the world. The fishery economy of China has had a rapid development since the policy of reform and opening up was implemented. At the same time, China is also one of the largest seafood exporter countries. The World Trade Overview shows us the value of fish and aquatic products exported by China in 2009 was $6.81 billion. For example, we is exporting foreign shrimp to other Asian countries. This photo shows us the global fishing tonnage ranking. As you can see, China was the first one in the global fishing tonnage, between 1991 and 2010.
However, in recent years, world fishery resources are declining due to overfishing, and the situation of high-seas fishery resource is more worrying. The trend around the world has been for companies going out of business, but China is going in the opposite direction. Deep-sea fishing is a high-risk, high-input, low-return industry. Global fishing resources are devaluing, while China's subsidies continue to rise. From a macro perspective, under the nation-state framework and through global trade, millions of poor people from the developing world were elevated from poverty. The government hopes to subsidize the livelihoods of Chinese fishermen who are struggling to survive because of the depletion of offshore fishing as well as to encourage development far offshore. In contrast to China's aggressive development of abysmal sea fisheries, fisheries experts around the world point to the fact that subsidies are responsible for accelerating global consumption of fisheries. In January, members of the World Trade Organization (WTO) agreed it needs to push for reduced fishery subsidies to further strengthen protection of fishery resources worldwide. In my opinion, reduced fishery subsidies is a good idea to protect the marine environment. When humans overfish the ocean, the food web begins to erode as the big, diverse, tasty, high-priced fish at the top of the pyramid are fished out first. The next step would be catch fish of lower nutritional order. Therefore, our fishery resource and marine environment would suffer greatly. Now I would like to talking about the land to explain. If people intensive consumption, our plan what would change in our food market and environment. Desertification is one of the most serious environmental and socio-economic problems, which faced by the whole world and cared by international societies. The proportion of livestock and livestock products entering international trade as a share of total consumption rose from 4% improved to 13% around 1980. With the demand are growing repeatedly, meat production, which in developing countries has increased 230%, and milk production increased 200%, whether or domestic consumption or export at 1980. However, some researchers came up with classification and development area table of the cost of desertification and human activities based on land use. This graph shows us the percentage about people overgrazing and overplanting and utilization of water, so on, that make land desertification. The increase of population and the expansion of social demand have increased the pressure of land resource utilization. Further, reclamation also reduced the area of grassland. Therefore, people need to control the balance between the demand of foods and environment.
The number of mammals in many parts of the world is rapidly decreasing, which is a global phenomenon. In fact, the globalization of the food market is around us. This year, the national pig industry was affected by the swine fever epidemic, and the number of pigs was reduced by more than one-third. The Chinese have therefore increased their purchasing power. Between May and July, China's total imports of pork, chicken, beef jumped nearly 70% to more than $5 billion. And global meat price rose. The Food and Agriculture Organization's Global Meat Price Index rose 10% this year to the highest level since the beginning of 2015.
China has the largest number of pigs in the world. Domestic pork prices have risen quickly, and China meat imports have increased, which concerns global supplies and have an effect on the global food market and economy. China is buying meat products globally to fill a huge domestic supply gap. It has pushed up the global price of beef, pork, and poultry. In Argentina, many people eat beef, but as prices soar, some local people no longer eat beef. Industry data show that steak price rose 51% from last year, both in terms of inflation and the surge in China exports. In today's globalized world, one country's action will affect another country's and even global trends. The problem in the food market, we need a healthy and sustainable food system. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, we can also call it FAO, let's take the lead in international efforts to fight hunger. This organization has made many contributions to global food market. FAO is developing livestock tracking system in Papua New Guinea for the pork market. The global increase in demand for pork has brought new opportunities, but farmers need to be able to prove the quality of their products. FAO is developing a new livestock tracking system and allows consumers to have information about the pig, including what they eat, when they go sick, and what medicine they use. This is what FAO is doing to build consumer trust and make the market a healthy and sustainable system.
Now I will make conclusion and give some recommendation about what we can do for the situation. With the development of the globalization, local food will be influenced by the whole world. People realize that the food environmental problem of the earth cannot be ignored. More and more organizations are proposing to develop sustainable food system. The sustainable food system is a process that aims to create a more direct link between the producer and the customer of the food. The closer producers are to home and the neighborhood, the greater the access to more nutrition and affordable food. We can do something in our daily life to support the system. Local eating. When you buy food from local farmers, you are contributing to the economy and also decreasing your impact on Mother Nature. Encourage cooking. When people have control over their own food, they can eliminating the added sugar and fats. Design menu to the following seasons. If you stick to seasonal produce, you will be able to buy almost everything locally. This practice will help to reduce your carbon footprint and boost your health. Rotate crop variety regularly. When farmers plant the same crops again and again, they often necessitate chemical-laden seasons. If farmers can plant different crops every few years, it can keep the soil healthy. Avoid additives. When you have options, try to buy original, grown and additive-free produce and grass-fed meat where possible. We can't fight climate change by simply checking what we eat, but the best style to preserve the planet may also be the best one for our health. Sustainable food equal to sustainable agriculture. This is our reference. That's end of our presentation. Thank you.